Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be continuing our underutilized Pokemon series, and this time it is going to be featuring Feraligator. So we are going to see if we can make this guy work. I've had a lot of comments for this one, to be honest, and honestly I've tried, guys, and I just haven't been able to make it work. But today's the day. We're going to make Feraligator work to the best of our ability in Regulation G. And there's no other better place to start than with the ability. Obviously, has to be Sheer Force, guys. Getting that boost makes so much more sense than having the Torrent. If we're going to make up for the mediocre stats, we need that attack boost right now. So we'll definitely be going for that Sheer Force. I think Life Orb is the natural starting point. Not much else to really say about that, right? The boost with the Sheer Force is so good. Not getting hit by the Life Orb recoil either just makes a ton of sense. Liquidation becomes your best water move on this guy as well. And there's options here. You can go something like Crunch, which is what I'm going to put in temporarily, just because anytime the Calorexes are relevant in the meta, it never hurts to, in this case, one-shot the Cali Shadow if they decide not to Terra, or at the exact same time. Just do good damage overall to the Cali Ice. So I think in general that piece makes a lot of sense. I definitely want to be protecting this thing, because sometimes people see Pokemon that they don't know what they do and they get scared of them, so they send fake outs. They just send all their damage into this piece. So maybe I'll just keep it alive for an extra turn, right? It's also just a good move in general. And I have options here, and the options are simply Aqua Jet or Setup. Initially I was like, yo, Aqua Jet's pretty consistent. I can start chipping things into range. That's probably pretty solid. Agility was also kind of funny, because even if I go Timid on this Feraligator, at +1 speed with a Dragon Dance, I actually don't outpace the Calyrex Shadow Rider if they rock max speed. So like agility was like funny, where it's like, oh, I agility and then I do outpace the Cali Shadow. But I do still think Dragon Dance is just the most consistent option that we have. I'll get spreads in later. I do think Terra Grass is also cool. Just seems consistent, gets out of a lot of the water type weaknesses. It works for Kyogre. Why can't it work for Feraligator, right? Totally the same Pokemon. Now I really want to pair this with a special attacker. And there's two ways I can do this, I think. I can do this with the Calyrex Shadow, or I can do this with the Koraidon. Right? I could also, in theory, say, you know, I don't really like Instant here. Let's go Zamazenta and go some body press stuff. But I really do think that Koraidon or Cali Shadow are probably the optimal partners here. And I think Feraligator, despite getting intimidated, can still do something versus Incineroar. So I really do like the concept of having something like Calyrex Shadow Feraligator. I think the concept in theory makes a lot of sense. I do have the Life Orb on the Gator, and I think I want a Whimsicott, because I think I'm going to need Tailwind on this composition. So I think because of that, I either go Focus Sash on the Rex, or I go for like something like a neutral ground spell tag, where I'm still getting good chunks of damage, but it's also not necessarily as offensive or as passive as the Focus Sash. So I think I'm going to go ahead and try that, at least to start the team. Spell tag, nothing crazy, just Astral Barrage, Psychic. Nasty Plot. I think Nasty Plot is way better than Calm Mind, unless given to team, that is. Anyways, the way I'm looking at this team right now is we're going to be adding Tailwind and probably some other offensive pieces. Calm Mind doesn't make a lot of sense here. Now, on the more, you know, the slower builds with the Clefairy, I definitely can I can definitely see why Calm Mind works. But here, I think we're definitely going to need Nasty Plot, and we'll just Protect. Once again, Spread will be later. I think there's a lot of options to be said about what Terra I want. Normal makes sense to me. Normal seems to be one of the more consistent ones, and what I like about Normal is you effectively lock the opposing Calyrex Shadow out of being able to multi-hit, out of being able to spread move you, right? So it's like, well, yes, this one, the normal one doesn't necessarily appreciate when the dark one's on the other side of the field, because Psychic and Barrage really don't hit it, but at least I can still click my spread move. Their spread move is only hitting one target, right? So that's why I like Normal here. You can easily go Fairy. You could probably go Fairy, Dark, probably go Water if you really wanted to as well. Probably not that big of an issue. Like I said before, I did want the Whimsicott, and this is just going to be a standard one, guys. It's going to be Cobra Cloak. Going to get my Tailwind going. Tailwind. Not, bro, I just tried to give this Whimsicott wicked blow. I am crazy. I am insane. Anyways, Light Screen, Tailwind. and Encore. Encore is just incredibly strong in this format right now, guys. It's also going to be one of the main reasons I think we're going to be able to get Feraligator to go. And if we can find a spot where, you know, Whimsicott can Encore lock something, we can utilize that to get Feraligator set up, sort of thing. Overall, this is just the most consistent Whimsicott, guys. We'll probably go Terra Dark or something, but I'll take care of that when I put the spreads in. After this, I really just want some offensive pressure, because the concept that I like with Calyrex Shadow teams is I want to be able to either lead Calyrex and then tidy up endgame with pressure, whether it's priority spam, whether it's aggression, like just good pieces that are really, really strong. And normally that would come in the case of like an Urshifu and Tailwind, right? But I don't have Urshifu, I have a Feraligator. Not that, you know, Feraligator is necessarily a bad Pokemon, but in comparison to Urshifu, definitely not hitting that same bar, if you know what I'm talking about. So I think what I want to do here is I want to add some sense of priority spam, as well as make anti-intimidate. So I think Dragonite makes a lot of sense, and then naturally because of that, Shenpao beside Dragonite also makes a lot of sense, as well because I still have my Sash free. So Focus Sash here, this helps versus the Koraidon matchup as well. I'm going to go Terra Ghost. I've never liked Terra Stellar. There are definitely scenarios where Terra Stellar makes a ton of sense, but for me personally, Terra Stellar has never felt good. Sucker Punch and Protect. Basically pretty standard here, nothing crazy. Dragonite, I'm going to go with that Choice Band variant. Basically what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for that big damage boost. Going to go normal, and it's just going to be immediate extreme speed stuff. We'll go Outrage. We'll go, I think Aerial Ace is still of value. You can probably play around with these moves, like if we need a tech move somewhere else. But for right now, we'll start standard. Obviously, Stomping Tantrum as well. We'll start standard with these moves, and if we see any issues along the way, we'll point them out for sure. But right now, that makes a lot of sense. And now we just simply need to close the team. And the question is, how do we want to close the team? I still do not want to see Incineroar on the other side of the field. So I'm thinking of maybe some sort of like Defiant Pokemon. I think we also need a Terapgos answer, so getting a fighting type would be nice. So if we look at Defiant fighting types, I mean, that gives us realistically a few options. I mean, we can go Phalanx. I'm definitely not doing that. I think the way I want to look at this is like Zapdos Galar is very interesting, because a lot of the times the Calyrexes, when you go into Calyrex Mirror, they're going to be Terra Dark or Terra Normal. And I think with Zapdos, that can effectively pin both of those options. So like if they try to lead like Incin Calyrex into us, by having Zapdos and our Calyrex, we can permanently pin that position to a spot where Brave Bird Barrage or Close Combat Barrage is going to be picking up knockouts, especially if we put a Choice Scarf here. And I think that because of that, it gives us a lot of leeway moving forward. So we're going to go Choice Scarf, we're going to go Defiant. I really like Brave Bird, I like Close Combat. I also really think U-turn is huge here, because we get to U-turn out and then reposition, whether that's into getting into like Dragonite Zapdos, U-turn out, get Shenpao in beside the Dragonite for the boosted damage sort of thing, right? We can do a lot of cool things with that. I think Scarf position-based play is really, really cool. I've loved it on Scarf Urshifu. Obviously, it's nothing new, but it's just something that I really like to look at when I'm team building. Here there's options, right? It could be funny. Do we get double kick? Because that could be really cool. We don't get double kick. That would have been really, really cool to like break Shenpao. We can do stuff like Tailwind, which is like cool, but we already have our Prankster Tailwind. I don't think we necessarily need that. Helping Hand is cute, but if we're going to get Choice Scarfed into it, I don't know. Knockoff is also cool, but we also have Shenpao and Feraligator already with the dark moves, so I don't think it's a necessity right now. Also, we have our own Calyrex, so a lot of the times these Calyrexes are going to be tearing versus us regardless. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Taunt is kind of cute as well. Thunderous Kick, I think, is something I'm actually going to consider. I think I'm actually going to go for it. Just a defense drop, and then all of a sudden, if I lead Zapdos Calyrex, get a couple defense drops with Thunderous Kick, and then have to clean up with Dragonite Shenpao, that's a valid line I can play to. This also makes me wonder if I should be running Psyshock over here. And I'm a little tempted. Honestly, I'm gonna do it for the sake of doing it, for the sake of the video. I think it's cool. We'll see how it actually plays out. But the concept of having Psyshock over here is basically Zapdos with the Choice Scarf is gonna be faster, and then I can launch the Psyshock in combination with that defense drop and cook from there. I like Terra Ghost because the concept here is I want to be able to get around Rillaboom Incineroar. So Terra Ghost, we're gaming with that. I'm going to go throw some spreads in, guys. I'll be back in like a minute. And by a minute, I mean less than 2 seconds. All right, anyways, we've got Feraligator here, guys. Once again, I did pretty much just hit points that I thought were good to hit. There's a lot of these spreads that you can probably optimize and fine-tune moving forward. But I basically just hit a bunch of stat jumps that kind of looked cool. In terms of whether or not they're optimal is up in the air. We start off with the Feraligator, of course. I went 128. I really just wanted to outpace Raging Bolt, because sometimes you do get pranked by that max speed Raging Bolt, and just having Feraligator be faster than that seemed nice. It made sense. I have Tailwind on the team. I didn't really need to have bulk on this guy anyways. His defensive stats aren't like terrible, but they're not worth, I don't think, like pumping a lot of bulk into when we're just looking to do damage. You can probably get away with like a 252 spread on this thing. Just look for damage, look for offense, but I didn't really see a need to. I wanted to hit the Life Orb optimal number at 169. Other than that, really, that was pretty much it. I think that's the jump and attack as well. Yeah, perfect. So it ended up working out pretty well there. Other than that, not a lot. Like I said, you can go 252 if you want. The one thing I will point out is I am adamant, because I think getting the adamant damage is a lot stronger. I am not outpacing like Jolly Shenpao now at +1, which could be something to consider moving forward. However, for right now, we're going to try the adamant mode, see if that works. Calyrex, guys, this is, like I said, standard Calyrex, nothing crazy. I refuse to go non-max speed unless I'm like crazy bulky and potentially beside Clefairy and stuff like that. So I went with the max speed. That's that benchmark there. And then I put respectable amounts of bulk and honestly just special attack that was going to do some sort of damage, right? A lot of those booster energy Flutter Mains tend to live the Astro Barrage if I'm not boosted. With this spell tag, I have a pretty good chance, and 116 special attack, I have a pretty good chance of actually getting that knockout more often than not. So that just felt nice. I mean, it just gave me something to have. Basically, if I don't get my nasty plot up, it gave me a little bit of more immediate damage that I think the team definitely can use, especially on a Calyrex. Sometimes you just need to launch barrages, and you don't get the ability to set up. So having that in more immediate pressure is nice. Whimsicott, we're talking. Just went bulky, guys. This is where the Whimsicots are going nowadays. 169 outpaces the Timid Lando, just in case that happens to pop up. I didn't really find anything else for the defenses. Basically looking for setting up light screen, living some stuff. We're bringing it to Koraidon matches. We're bringing it to Calyrex matches. Didn't really need the defenses here. I needed the special defense. So that's where we leaned on this one. Nothing too crazy here. Once again, probably any Whimsicott spread. Probably going to serve the job and get the job done on this team. Dragonite. I went pretty basic here, guys. I went max attack because I didn't really see a reason not to run max attack choice banded Dragonite, because why not? I'm pairing it with Shenpao. This is one of my bigger damage dealers. I'm going to absolutely send it. I put enough speed to outpace, I think it's 4-speed Kyogre that hits 113. No one's really running that nowadays, but on the off chance that I play it, this felt like a decent speed stat to have. I want it to be at 112 anyways, for collaboration with the Tailwind mode, in case I need to go like Tailwind and send an Outrage, right? So in case I was ever in that position, I wanted to have 112, and since I was right at 112, I bumped up to 114. Other than that, just dumped into HP, because why not? Shenpao, standard Sash Shenpao, guys. I went Jolly. You could probably get away with Adamant, but once again, I don't think we're always getting Whimsicott on the field, so I like having Jolly here. Nothing too crazy, just the only thing here is the 4s in defense, better Surging Strikes rolls, pretty standard Shenpao build. Zapdos, same concept, guys. I'm going to go fast, I'm going to do damage, I have a Choice Scarf, not a lot to say. It's just 252. I put the 4 in defense, could probably go in HP, I just like my stats being odd because I'm crazy like that. Really looking forward to trying this team out. I'm very curious if in concept it's going to work, because I think the concept of the team makes sense, right? We're gonna go launch damage, send it, happy, good stuff, and we're gonna clean up with Calyrex, or we're gonna launch damage early with Calyrex and then clean up late game with the Dragonite. Feraligator does work into this in a sense that we can get some pressure on with Feraligator. I like the concept of having Calyrex, Feraligator beside each other, because basically if I lead them both, it's like one of those ones where it's like, well, you got to be scared of the Calyrex. I'm just going to get a free Dragon Dance and protect my Calyrex here and move forward like that. Or if they hit my Feraligator, then they're leaving a Calyrex on the field. Obviously, that's going to change based on where I think the scenario of the game is. However, I think I like that in theory as well. I'm curious to see how many games we can actually get Feraligator 2. I normally like to force him in, but I don't know. We'll see if he holds his own. Okay, jumping into our games here, we're going to get ice hard Trick Room stuff, which is like, I think fine. I think we can bring the Feraligator to this, which is really good. But for those of you new to the series, we are just going to be doing basically a couple best of 1 games, probably 2 to 3, and then we'll jump into a best of 3 to see how our results can fare over that way, just to get kind of a good mix-up of games in with this team, hopefully some different matchups as well. So how do I want to play this now? What's my line to break through this? I think what I want to do is they're going to probably lead Smeargle. So I'm very tempted to lead like Zapdos, Feraligator, and reposition, and then have something like Calyrex, Shenpao, and just have my pieces. Dragonite is less valid here, or less solid here, because of the fact that they do have the Indeedee. I know I have Ice Spinner, but still not quite the same. So here's the thing. This is Follow Me Trick Room probably. But I'm going to go U-turn and liquidate into the Indeedee. If I can get the kill on Indeedee here, I am giving them 4 turns of room. But I think I should be able to, with my repositioning, get outside of the Trick Room and survive those 4 turns. Normally what I like to do here is actually not kill the Indeedee. Like I would normally go for something like a U-turn into the Indeedee and like try to not kill it with the Feraligator. But it looks like we're just going to get that kill. It is Rocky Helmet. They're going to Trick Room. I still think having a Sash Shenpao on the board is a lot better than not having a Sash piece. So absolutely going to get rid of this Indeedee. And if there's a world where they say we're just going to Lance because I think they're going to because they think Indeedee is the one that's clicking, because they think I'm doubling the Calyrex, they're just going to try and Trick Room with the Indeedee. And that's where they would go from there. That's an option. So now I have the line where Hatterene actually probably doesn't have Protect on this team. A lot of these Hatterenes don't run Protect. So I'm going to play to that and do this and see if I can kill this Hatterene. And what's going to happen now is now they're going to Trick Room. Still no Trick Room. So I lose the Gator to a crit, which is a little unfortunate because like I think I live without it, right? How much did the, let's see, Glacial Lance, yeah, it did 40% to the Feraligator. So I definitely live that if they don't crit me, which is actually super problematic. However, how do I close this out? I could go for like some Thunderous Kicks into Ice Spinner shenanigans. Calyrex is very nice, but I got to get Calyrex on the board now, unfortunately. It is Torkoal. Generally speaking, there's specs on these types of variants. But if they get Trick Room up, I think I'm always losing now, which is my problem. Basically, I always lose because of the crit, which is a little unfortunate, but I might lose anyways, even without the crit. However, you know, it would have been nice to not have that crit be a factor here. I think what I want to do is go Throat Chop and just send a Barrage. And I'm sure I'm going to lose both pieces to a Lance here, or they're going to try and Trick Room. So they do try for the Trick Room, which is fine, I think. So it's Protect, Protect. How do I get out of this? Astro Barrage did 46%, so if I get it single target, I win the game. So what I do here is I now go for the Sucker Punch here, and I bring in Zapdos. I lose my Zapdos, Cali comes back on the board, and I have to get a double. No matter what scenario I play to, a double is required to win this game, and that's my best odds. So I go ahead and swap Calyrex out in for Zapdos, try to get some Sucker Punch chip damage just to see what I can do. And there they go with the Lance. Even if I would have gone for like the double Protect on Shenpao there, it technically doesn't matter because Calyrex is hitting the board with 2 turns left regardless. Okay, so here's Protect 1. Like I said, I just quite simply have to get the double Protect. I believe in Calyrex. See, it's just that simple, guys. You just got to believe in your Pokemon. I have Plot Armor because I'm running Feraligator. That's how it works. Anyways, Calyrex goes down. We'll take our game 1. I think it's different if they don't crit me. I think the lines in that game are still probably okay if they don't crit me, especially knowing that they didn't click Trick Room. But tough to say for sure. Either way, we're definitely gonna take our win to start today. Once again, gonna try for sheets. We're gonna get Koraidon here, and I don't love trying to force Feraligator into this, guys. I normally do try to bring Feraligator as often as I can, but Scarf Zapdos is actually going to go crazy right now, in all honesty. Scarf Zapdos looks fantastic here. Maybe this is a Zapdos video, not a Feraligator video, am I right? Anyway, Zapdos on lead. Honestly, I might just lead Zapdos CSR and tell them to figure it out. Whimsicott in the back just to match their Tailwind stuff. And then Shampoo looks very good. Like, I think the concept here is unfortunately going to have to stray away from Feraligator. But I do think this is a mode of the team that we're allowed to bring, and we should be trying to bring, right? Like, even on other teams with basic teams, you don't bring every Pokemon to every matchup. So, very, very strong option for us here. I'm going to just tell them to pick one. Like, I'm going to Brave Bird Barrage and say figure it out. Cool. And they most certainly, they got something out of that. Anyways, and what they got was a dead Koraidon. So, Koraidon goes down. Whimsicott takes about 90 or 77 or whatever it is. Math I don't want to do right now. Walking Wake comes in. In Tailwind is a little concerning. It does get that speed boost as well. So, I'm going to protect the Cali and cycle in Whimsicott. And then I'm going to Tailwind and cycle out the Cali and sack my Zapdos. Yeah, I like that. I think basically they were just expecting me to protect Calyrex turn 1, and thankfully I ended up getting that right. They're going to Snarl there, which is a little weird. Snarl Moonblast actually gives me a lot of openings now. That's a free Tailwind, and see, they're going to Encore, so I am just going to go ahead and sack Zapdos here. Oh, they're going to taunt my Whimsicott. That's a cool play. So if they're taunt, they probably actually don't have Encore, which means I can bring in, I get Shenpao first. Moonblast the Wake and protect. No, I always Ice Spinner. I always double the Wake. Because with the sun up, they're always going to be faster than me with the Calyrex, than my Calyrex, so I have to cover for that. They're actually going to switch the Whimsicott out. I do respect that play. I think it's a pretty good play. They're going to Snarl, though, which I get it. You're breaking my Sash, but I don't think as a whole that it actually gets you very far, as Moonblast Ice Spinner is going to take care of this Walking Wake now. I've got to get through turns here. How do I want to get through these turns? Kill Whimsicott is always best for me. Let them kill my Whimsicott if they don't. Like, this is just correct. Yeah, they're going to kill that. I'll kill their Cot. My taunt should now be over. So now I can match Tailwind and Astral Barrage. No reason for me to click anything other than Tailwind Barrage here. It's really just coming down to if they kill my... oh, that actually did a lot. Single target spell tag. Yeah, they would have needed to crit and clearly high roll that as well. So we're gaming. Moonblast and Barrage. Nothing they can do here. Once again, unfortunately, couldn't bring the Gator, but it worked. Okay, so we're back to more Hard Trick Room. This is an older variant of the Hard Trick Room stuff. Generally speaking, like, this almost looks like the Tub Takes team from like before Worlds, right, with the Electabuzz. So see if we can hold off onto that. See if we can try to leverage off of that. Long story short, I play too much Pokemon and I recognize teams too quickly. I still like Feraligator here. I think it actually works out very, very well. And the concept we're going to get the team sheets, but I still like Feraligator, Zapdos, Calyrex, Shenpao probably, but let me just quickly check. It is a close combat one. That's fine. Yeah, the biggest concern is if they get into Trick Room, and chances are they're going to, which is a little unfortunate, but not much. I guess I could lead... Yeah, I guess I could have, in theory, led Calyrex, Zapdos, and Terapgos and like sent like Barrage, Brave Bird, or something like that, something along those lines. What I really want to make sure that I'm getting off here is the fact that I don't give them a chance to get a Decorate going. So my best way to stop the Decorate is to click, I think, Crunch into Calyrex and Terapgos, Thunderous Kick into Calyrex. If they redirect, it's fine. I deal with that as I need to read. Why does everybody fake out the Feraligator? Why is everybody scared of this guy? Is he that threatening? Is he that threatening? Anyways, let's go. I think they're gonna just follow me now. I don't think they ever. So I'm gonna liquidate and Cali? I should have U-turn turn 1, guys. U-turn would have such a better play. Would have had such a better position. I think I'm going to U-turn and just Thunderous Kick to Smeargle. Like, that's fine. Go ahead and Spore me. Ow, that does way too much. Gator ate that though. Hold on. Gator cooking? The problem is going to be getting out of the Trick Room. Right? So what's going to happen here is now this is going to be Decorate Lance. Right? So if I bring in Shenpao, the Decorate, it'll start doing 60% to my Feraligator. If I bring in Shenpao, my Feraligator will die. Am I okay with that? I think I have to be. But I have to have pieces in a spot where I'm able to cycle out. Yeah, there's a Decorate, here's a Lance. Yeah. I don't think I can. I think this matchup's just that bad. Like the hard Trick Room stuff is very terrible, but I should have U-turned turn 1. Calyrex hits the board. Protect, sack, Zapdos, and then I need a double protect on Cali. Why are we in this position again? Because now what they do is they just follow me Lance, right? So I sack the Zapdos, I bring Shenpao back onto field, and then I go for... Yeah, I don't even think I win this even if I get that. Right? There's no line where I ever get this, right? Even with the double, I think it just puts me in a bad spot because they can always still Terra Fire. Well, at least we get to see the Terra Fire early. They're going to go Spore. I think they should have followed me, but I mean, that's fair. With the Terra, they live the Sucker Punch, so it makes sense. Is there ever a world here? I gotta get a double again. My line is still get another double. After that, there's still no line after that. But just because I never got a boost on the Cali, right? My Cali never got a boost. There's first protect. Yeah, okay, sure. Can we stop playing hard Trick Room? I still think the Gator is good here. I need to U-turn turn 1. If I would have U-turned turn 1, I think we were in a lot better of a spot. So we're gonna go ahead and I think just run it back, but. Although there's no priority block here, so maybe I'm supposed to go like... Now that I got sheets. But like maybe I'm supposed to go D-Knight? I think I'm okay running it back. This is kind of just my problem with these hyper... aggressive teams like the way I built out this team, right? Like there's not a lot of switch-ins. They get Trick Room up and you're probably just cooked for 4 turns no matter how hard I try to cycle out of it. This is one of those ones where we're gonna need liquidation U-turn to pick up Mimikyu, and it's gonna have to get there. Simple as that. But here's the thing: the U-turn breaks the disguise. Shenpao hits the board. If I'm faster than the Mimikyu and actually get this liquidation off, it should get the KO. Perfect. Mimikyu gone. Beautiful. All right, Feraligator finally doing something, guys. We're getting there. We're getting there. We see that only does 40, so we can still take another one. They can bring Intimidate in. That is arguably fine. We get to see the fact that, you know, Trick Room never went up, which is super nice. Doesn't mean they won't set it up here. I think I just send a -1 liquidation into the instant. And do I throat chop the Cali or do I reset? Like the question is, are they going for fake out Trick Room? Because if they're going for fake out Trick Room, I can get Zapdos in or get a throat chop. I'm just gonna get a throat chop off. Yeah, they're gonna go fake out Trick Room, right? That's what I would do every time, and there it is. So fake out Trick Room is up. I'm gonna double protect. I need to somehow get to an endgame where I have 2 pieces. I also need to find a way to get Calyrex on the board sooner rather than later without taking ridiculous amounts of damage, but I don't think that ever becomes the case here. So what they're gonna do, if they're U-turning, the U-turn should actually kill my Shenpao, which means Feraligator, based on the first turn, took 40, but without Shenpao and single target, it'll be very similar to damage output. I wonder though if I just say crunch you and cycle Zapdos in. No, that never works. I have to cycle Cali in. And I need to live a Lance plus U-turn. Okay. Step 1 is complete. Don't know what their last one is. It's going to be the Ursaluna, so I could have lucked the liquidation into that slot. Crunch is basically, I'm just trying to chip everything into lower range for everything else here. What I want to do, I think I'm going to double protect, and then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to sack the Feraligator. No, but then I lose to the Ursaluna. It's still double protect. I just got to find a way to cycle out of this, because I need to find a way to not only, I need to have pressure onto the Luna. It's throat spray as well, so it's not just going to immediately die. What am I sacking? What is my correct sack? Sacking both of these guys doesn't make sense. Is it sack Shenpao? I think it is. Yes, it's sack Shenpao. I go for a double if I get it. No, I don't. No, I don't, because that just gives them Trick Room. Liquidate if I get it, and sack Pow. Okay, they're going to do it that way. So they're looking to get Trick Room back up, but because we're Terra Ghost... Oh, we don't lose Shenpao. That's potentially problematic. It's Terra Ghost, and Brave Bird is my strongest option, but close combat covers everything, so I close combat you. They basically need to call which one I'm going to Terra Ghost. I think they're probably faking out... Do they fake out Shenpao and say if they're wrong? I think they fake out Zapdos. I don't know. I'm doubling the Calyrex here. We'll see what's up. Yeah, we got the call right. So we get the double up here. CC goes into Calyrex. Does miss the KO. We do get that throat chop into the Calyrex, and this should be enough to seal the game, I think. So they can protect that slot. They've already terrored, so I'm just going to CC and kill off the Incin. And I'm going to Ice Spinner. That should put it in range of a Psyshock from our Calyrex. So regardless of if this kill... Ooh. Okay, never mind. Zapdos is goated. Okay. That was wild. Jumping over to our best of 3, we're going to get the Scream Tail Terapgos team that's kind of been picking up in popularity as of late. So we'll get to see... I think we're going to be able to bring Feraligator to at least one of these matchups. It's just going to be tough because, like, I have to cycle with the Zapdos really, really well into this matchup. But, like, because they lose their cycle with the Incineroar stuff because I have a Zapdos, it makes this kind of interesting. I think I definitely want to get aggressive. They're also a really slow team outside of that Screamtail. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bench Calyrex and have Feraligator be our restricted, at least for game 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Dragonite, Shenpao, Zapdos, Feraligator. And I'm just tempted. I just want to see how they're going to approach this. I might need Whimsicott as well. But we shall see how they want to approach this. I am very tempted to Terra Ghosting my Shenpao right now, sending an immediate Ice Spinner into this Rillaboom and clicking Outrage. But Banded E-Speed also racks up damage, but I also don't want to click it. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to my initial play. I think it's a very aggressive play, but I also think it should work. Okay, so I didn't need to Terra Ghost, I guess. But Banded Outrage besides Shenpao, I don't care that it's technically resisted by this Terapgos. It's still taking a crazy amount of damage right there. Ogerpon hits the field. This should pretty much force a redirect here, or just a... I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to hit the Terapgos though, just in case they Spiky Shield or try to get cheeky. Yep, but if they're going to redirect, that's absolutely fine. We get the hit into the Sturdy. Are they faster? They are. That's fine. Dragonite's alive. Shenpao's on Sash, and Ogerpon is now gone. I was worried there about just an immediate, basically no follow me and an Ivy Cudgel killing my Dragonite. So they're going to bring in Heatran as the last right now. Zapdos should already have this game solved. Outrage, and Feraligator actually ties up the Heatran pretty nicely. And Ice Spinner over there. Okay, good protect. Outrage could still technically hit the slot that I needed to. It did not. And they're going to burn to D-Knight. Okay. I'm, like, not upset about that. Like, I'm not like, oh my goodness, this is such a good turn for me. But, like, it's definitely not, like, an upsetting spot. Anyway, throw chop Terapgos just to keep it low enough so that close combat can pick it up. All I need to do is just position to have both of these pieces dead. If I can get both of these pieces dead at the same time, I am in a fantastic position. I just don't know if they're going to give it to me. Throat Chop for some really good damage. There's a substitute from the Terapgos. I hit myself in Confusion and a Flamethrower into Shenpao. So the sub actually makes this problematic to a spot where bring in Feraligator. I'm just gonna protect right now. I just want to see. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Looking for that protect right there. So now I can simply launch a liquidation into that Heatran this turn. And I think as long as I'm faster than Terapgos with Zapdos here. Sorry, as long as I'm faster than Terapgos with Feraligator, this should be a game over. Thunderous Kick gonna break the sub. Liquidation goes into Heatran for the kill. Terapgos has to Terra Stellar Starstorm. Oh, we're just gonna live with both because, you know, Zapdos Feraligator, your best restricted duo in the game. Anyways, Liquidation Thunderous Kick. So Feraligator doesn't get that kill, but had Zapdos had fallen, it would have been very strong. Would have been able to wrap that one up. I think I'm gonna pretty much similar concept. I really like how that one played out. I almost want to go like Shenpao D-Knight into endgame this time and lead Zapdos Feraligator this time and just put the more pressure on immediately and then have this in the endgame. Like kind of just the reverse. Kind of like, you know how like sometimes you would lead like your Psy Spam stuff and have a different mode in the back, but then you'd keep Psy Spam in the back and have your different mode up front. Similar stuff. We get the Zapdos on the Incin lead right here. This is where having Aqua Jet would be super, super clutch. I'd be very happy if we had Aqua Jet here. Unfortunately, we do not. Because I don't want to launch just a CC. I think I'm just going to launch a Thunderous Kick and liquidate the Terapgos. I'm really just trying to break. Yeah, I'll liquidate the Terap. Okay, that's actually very fine. Actually, are they gonna tease a Will-O-Wisp in here? Yeah. They missed. Never mind. It was a great play from their end, but sometimes now I'm gonna hit the instant. I'm more scared of this instant. I also might Dragon Dance here, because that'll make me faster than this guy coming in. Perfect. So I get to kill on the instant. I get a Dragon Dance up. I'm now faster than the Ogerpon. I should have done this turn 1. I did get bailed out on the Will-O-Wisp miss, but I should have really just hit the instant turn 1 and Dragon Dance. The non-boosted Terapgos was not an immediate threat to me. At this point now, though, I can technically double the Ogerpon. And once again, the not boosted Terapgos is not a threat to me right now. If they Spiky Shield, it's a good play. But thankfully, they're just going to go for that Follow Me. Thunderous Kick into a Liquidation. Going to remove this Ogerpon now. Pretty good start to this game. Like I said, non-boosted Terapgos, not that scary. Feraligator absolutely tanking that. Obviously, it's like they're Terra Stellar, right? So it's like it's gonna hit, but like I take it. I take another one as well. Now I can go Thunderous Kick, and they didn't just protect, so I will spread my damage. But at that point, that game is over. Thank you, Terapgos, for not being offensive, and thank you, Feraligator, for clutching up that victory. Anyways, guys, with that is going to wrap it up here. We saw Feraligator work when it was able to. Some of those harder Trick Room matchups and those like full-on I'm dedicated to getting Trick Room up teams are pretty tough. But in general, the Trick Room matchup is kind of okay. I do really need to get back into the better habit of U-turning off of Zapdos turn 1. There's obviously lines where you can like lead Zapdos. And there's no secret here, guys. I'm not going to call Feraligator the best Pokemon in the format. I'm not going to go out and do that. But honestly, for what it was worth in the matchups that I brought it to, in like that I thought like, yeah, this can work here. It actually did work there. It was a very serviceable Pokemon. Is there anything I would change about it? I don't know if I need Crunch. Crunch might just be wrong. There might be a different physical move upon looking back at it, right? Like I feel like there could be something. Like Flip Turn could also be very fun, especially if I am bringing it versus Trick Room stuff. I can just start Flip Turn, U-turn, Flip Turn, U-turn, and just start cycling around, which could be a ton of fun. Ice Fang could be cute, but like I don't think it really does all that much for the grass types, because like I have a Shenpao for that, right? The thing is, like, I can do tech moves, but all of these tech moves just end up, being covered by the rest of the team already. So Crunch just kind of felt good. I can always scam the Calorexes if I get a position for it. Overall, team felt good. Zapdos, surprisingly, was absolutely phenomenal. This Pokemon right here, for whatever reason, was phenomenal. I was not familiar with Zapdos' game. Regardless, guys, that is going to do it for the video. If you are looking for it, paste will be down below. Probably won't make a rental for this one, but the paste will be down below. Feraligator was serviceable. As always, if you guys do enjoy this type of content, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help with the channel, and of course, I really do appreciate it. But with that, I'm going to get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all in a future video.